right, peace, everyone. Welcome to Parlez with Sensei Shui, episode 9. We'll be speaking on dream realities. So I know it's like, wait, what are you talking about, dream realities? So when I'm speaking on dream realities, I'm also speaking about this one too. All right, you're like, whoa, where are you going with this? Have you ever heard the song, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream? Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Well, that's true. Tut. But all jokes aside, I'm actually not joking. So there's really not much difference between the dream worlds of when you're sleeping and then where you're at right now. When you're sleeping, I like to say there's these different layers that are occurring depending on what's experiencing. Because some people, when they dream, you want to look into the symbols of your dreams. All right. So, and what they feel like, especially if you see things at a certain household that you've been at for a long time or things in your childhood. A lot of times I like to say that's like the subconscious mind working through different things. Now that I'm starting to get into my dream studies a little bit more, I'm starting to see that when they're not in the household, what your dreams and these dream realities are telling you, it's your spirit communicating, being animated in other realities and communicating you what you need to do in this one. Or if you're like me and you kind of do some other stuff, when you become conscious in another reality and you start doing your work there. Because for me, I would consider myself a dream walker. So what I mean by dream walkers is you see this through time. There's a few series that talk about people like this. If you are into Christianity or have heard of it, Joseph, like people who interpret dreams. Well, I'm one of those people. But for dream walkers, how I interpret it with my role is this isn't the only reality where I teach and I do work. And there's other realities that are parallel to this one in which I do my service. And as for interpreting dreams, I highly recommend this book. I just got it today. I've been writing down my dreams and using my intuition to interpret, but when it comes to symbolism of some things, I was like, all right, I know these are important. I'm going to need to go back and look into this because some of them are just like, okay, all this stuff that doesn't seem to add up is being shown to me, but then now I'm looking at it. So this one, Dream Language by Brita Ryan. All right, so these on here. All right, I highly encourage you to get into this if you're into it. Hey. Oh, I'm trying to just say hello. Wave. So I'm talking about dreams and dream language. So we're going to be talking about dreams, dream realities. Going to be referencing this book right here. So basically with it, the biggest thing about this book, why I like it so much, is it has over 25,000 symbols in it that it speaks of. And it's written by not just people who are like me, who are dream walkers, but also by scientists, neurologists, the whole nine. So that way, this is very accurate. It's also been compiled from symbols from people who've been dream journaling from over 30 years, from about 50 to 100 people, and cross-referenced. So that way, it's like, okay, if someone says they see a mascot, they're saying like, okay, if you see a mascot of something in your dream, then it's like, make sure you do everything you can to discourage laziness for the next 3 days. So yes. Yeah. And if you ever want to talk about dreams, you can mess me or just ask me questions. If you have a dream, actually, Deanna, you're the only person on right now. So if what's something in your dream that happened, say within the past week that you'd like me to, like, I could just look it up right now and then we could kind of go from there. Because mostly what I'm speaking on with dreams is the symbols of what it takes is, yes, the interpretation of dreams and the symbols that they mean. Because for myself, when it comes to dreaming, I'm not just here. I'm also active in other realities as well. I dream almost every single night. My dreams are very vivid. This is my dream journal right here. And then like I literally write stuff down and draw different pictures. I see a lot of things. So through that, it's something I realize I've been gifted with, and it's a part of my role on this planet is the things I'm told and shown in the dream world to bring it to this dream world. Because kind of to talk about without getting too quantum physical is that this world is a dream too. And what I mean by a dream is like, it's something that the consciousness is experiencing that we are being told what's happening through our interpretation of it. As well, it is malleable. It is like clay. It can change. Yeah, go ahead. It could change and it molds according to our will or how we want to inference it. So if you've ever had anything like a lucid dream, this reality is kind of like a lucid dream, except for when you want to make it change, it's not as abrupt. If you want to think of the movie Inception, if you realize when they started to make all these changes in the dreams, then everything started to react. It was almost getting mad and fighting back. Likewise, if you try to make too many changes at once, it kind of pushes you back in the same place because you're saying breaking too many quote unquote rules or like of the fabric of reality that's going on. Because the biggest thing I like to talk about with dreams is that with it, it's your intuition and it's your spirit talking to you, because time doesn't exist. All right. Time is experienced, because it's this weird thing where they're like, oh, time doesn't exist, so you don't need to do anything. Like, let's slow down, realize being in a physical body, we are subject to time because the body, which the spirit is plugged into to experiences atrophy or decay. The body dies, the spirit continues. But as we're connected to this, we are subject to the force of time that is greater than our will, you know? However, when we're in dream time, when we're doing this, our spirit is telling us things that will happen, have happened, and the situation that we're in right now and how to navigate through that. And it's shown through our dreams. You know, it's only until maybe recently that they started saying, oh yeah, dreams ain't important, it's just your brain, da da da. And it's like, nah, but if you go even 100, 200 years plus back, dreams were a sacred thing, you know, to be like, hey, what's happening in my dreams is actually showing me about where I need to go through my life. Because it's like when our consciousness is not absorbed in these daily things like paying bills and driving and taking care of the kids and doing laundry and having to cook and, oh, I got to take a shower, do all that stuff. When it's just sleeping and not in that mode, we could receive much more communication from it. So when we receive this communication, it's very important to listen. If you do not dream journal, I encourage you to do it. If journaling and writing isn't your thing, I encourage you to devote a file on your phone or something to, like, when you wake up, talk and record your dreams. They are very important. They're very important. I would say one of my experiences when I started to realize, like, I already knew my dreams were different. But I remember I was in an airplane. And let me see if I could find this like really fast. If not, then I'm not supposed to read it to y'all. Right. Yeah. But anyway, what happened was I was in an airplane. I was reading through my dreams as I was like going on a spirit quest, basically. Like I was going on a 3-day fast. I was going to be in the mountains and I wanted to read through my dreams to be like, all right, what is it going to tell me? I'm going to realize something. And super serious. Like I was reading the dream and it was like, da da da. There's, 777 on my left-hand side. I look over to my left-hand side after I'm reading it. The flight attendant is pushing a cart past me with the number 777 and then like wearing the same color clothes as I said that, like as someone that was in the dream. And I just like got chills on my spine. I was like, what is this? And I, of course, just stayed up the whole flight reading everything because I became aware. It's like, okay, I'm seeing some premonitions in these dreams. I'm starting to see my spirit, my soul is starting to tell me what's going on, before the conscious, well, that's still being conscious, but before this now meets in that, right? Because when I like to say, when it comes into now, you say it's like, oh yeah, present is ever going, time doesn't exist. Can you explain that? Yes, I will, right? It's more like time is this giant pool, right? It's this giant fluid in which we move through. What we're moving through and experiencing, that is the experience of linear time, even if we experience it linearly, even though we're kind of going like this, right? But it's a timeful pool of fluid that we swim through and experience. Once we're not subject to it, I'm not going to say I know, but with it, once we're, say, not bound to the confines of time and experience, things are very different. Something that could feel like 5 minutes could be 10 years especially if you're dreaming, right? Because I'm going to keep it in dreams and not get too metaphysical with stuff. What should be on your mind when you meditate? All right, I'll get to that in a split second. So I guess going into this, so what should be on your mind when you meditate? And my question to you is when you're meditating, what is your intention of meditation? Are you meditating to calm your mind, or are you meditating for to elevate your spiritual experience? Because there's a difference if you're just trying to meditate to calm down to be more efficient and meditating to try to elevate yourself spiritually. So Oreo Big Man 651, if you could answer that question for me, what is your intention of your meditations? Because it's just like you could say working out to go within. So I would say to go within, don't focus as much as what's on your mind, because when you're saying these words, you've heard of, they call it the monkey brain, right? Some people call it the babbler, right? What this is, when you're hearing the words in your mind, try to get it to stop. All right. So I'm going to try this, and it's might be a little challenging, but I'm going to hold up three things, and I want you in your mind to not say what it is. All right. Like literally try your best. When I hold it up on the screen, don't say what it is. All right. Okay. We're going to go. All right. So you could ask yourself, if you were like, yo, that's I'm not gonna say pen. Is it a pen? I'm not gonna say pen. And then hold it up, I was like, oh, what is that? And it's even trying to ask you, what is that? Just gonna be clear and be like, oh yeah, this is like a 10. Or it's like, oh, I'm not gonna say anything this time. Ball, 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 ball. Stop, ball. All right. So that voice in your mind that you hear, it's not you. All right. You could say the brain is the computer, and the inputs that go in, it reiterates itself. When you're trying to go within, what you're going within to find is up to you. Right. But as you go within, if I'm going to talk about myself, going within is more realizing what I am when these words aren't going on in my mind. So the purpose, or what should be on your mind, I'm not going to say it's nothing, right? Because all those like, oh yeah, you focus on nothing. You might do that for 20 years and still be in the same spot. Like that's what happens often. Rather, when you hear these words in your mind, recognize them for what they are and start to see and be comfortable when you find these gaps in time, or when you're just going. Literally watch and just listen to the thoughts as if someone was talking to you, and you're just like, uh-huh, uh-huh, and not getting engaged, right? When it's saying all these things come in mind, and these situations in your life are coming up, and just random things are coming, just literally watch it as if you're listening to a conversation, you're not going to respond. Or when you say, think about TV and the stereotypical man that's so, like his wife was talking to him, and then he's not listening, he's thinking about something completely else. You want to think about that, but do it with yourself in your mind, right? You want to do that, because what happens once you get mentally involved and you attach yourself to these thoughts, well, then it's like your chemicals will start going, oh, I was thinking about this, thinking about this. So in order to help that, a meditation I like to do and teach to help what should be on your mind when you meditate. All right. For this, I like to bring in some EFT. So EFT is basically like, I forgot what it stands for, but it's basically using tapping methods before going into meditation, especially tapping different chakras on your body. When you tap different chakras on your body, what that does is bring the focus to it. So what a chakra is, chakra in itself means wheel, or means something that's spinning. All right. So the chakras are wheels of spinning energy, but hey, let's bring it back for a second into what's going on physically in the body. All right. So what a chakra point is like when your nervous system, so all the nerves that make you actually feel touch, you could say the chakra points are like the highways, or these giant intersections where it's like you got an intersection of roads of all your nerves. That's what these 7 points are, right? They're intersection of nerves in your body. They have a physical point as well, and they are paired with glands in the endocrine system too. But to help myself do this, what I'll do, I like to start, you can't see my belly button on, you can see it on IG, but on this, what I'll do, I'll take 2 fingers, tap like just right underneath my belly button, where I'll pinch there, and I'll pinch there, deep inhale, and and I'll release it and I'll focus on that aftertouch. As I focus on the aftertouch, I focus on bringing in energy to that spot. All right. So, what should be on your mind when you do this meditation is like literally bring this prana, this organ energy, this chi, whatever you want to call it, bringing that into that spot. Imagine there's a hole, like literally where you just touch and it's bringing it in and you're glowing brighter and brighter. Do that for like 20, 40 breaths. All right. Then you move up to your heart. You tap on your heart, like say, I like to say right underneath where your collarbones meet. You tap on there, top on there, deep inhale. And you stop, focus on that after touch. And same thing, inhale, bring in the energy into that spot. Give yourself a nice gentle smile when you're working on this heart chakra, developing this. Feel the warmth, feel that like nice and fuzzy. And like, even if you visualize, right? And then finally you go up right here. I like to pinch. You could tap two fingers. I like to pinch. All right. Just nice and gentle. Deep inhale. And exhale. You let go, focus on that spot. And as you're breathing in, imagine like literally prana energy coming into the spot, swirling and growing. And then if you feel a pressure, try to push through that spot. All right. So you're doing maybe when you're starting, if you've never meditated before, try 30, 40 breaths dedicated to each spot. Later on, you could be like, minutes, or when you start to feel the energy move, go and trust that. Use that as your map. But instead of like doing nothing when you meditate, what I mean doing nothing is like sitting there and try to ignore your thoughts. That's like the equivalent if you want to go to the store and you're like, you know what, I'm going to walk. All right. Some of these other methods are like, you know what, I'm actually going to get in the car and speed up this process. Okay. Because what that meditation I just taught you, you're developing the dantians of the body. All right. The dantians are an old ancient word for the base of the three brains in your body. All right. We have this brain right here. Most people know about, right? There's this second brain I see coming up now. That's the gut. All right. Because there's neurons in the gut. And there's this third brain that's in the heart. All right. These are three intelligences within the body. When you're intentionally touching these spots and bringing energy in, you're developing your energy body. You're developing this awareness. You're giving yourself these fuels to do these different spiritual tasks that you might want to do, or even to go more within. Because as you go more within, I would encourage you to check out episode 8 from last week if you haven't. But in that, I teach a really nice detachment practice that helps you go within. Because especially if you do have the time, before you do that meditation I teach you, do a subtle check off down from your feet, your legs, your knees, your thighs, feel them get heavy, your belly raise up and down, your chest, your shoulders get heavy. If your hands are in your lap, by the way, when you're doing mudras, I'm not a fan of the hands out on the knees because that feels like energy's leaving my body. I'm one to put the hands in, or if I do a mudra, I'll like cross it over, or if it's out, I'll put my hands down because it's really organic to think, the hands up, we're receiving. But like, I'd like you to try this experiment. All right. So literally do whatever mudra, meditate take a few breaths with your hands up on your knees, and then put your hands down on your knees. Pay attention to the feeling in your chest. All right. And then listen to that. All right. Just do that and then get back to me. Right. But the reason for that is you want to build this up. You're trying to build energy within yourself. All right. Because from my experience, when my hands are up or open, it's more like it's flowing through me. I feel the energy, but I don't feel anything building up in my chest. And I don't see anything building up in my mind. I don't see anything building up in my gut. If anything, it's like stuff comes in, but it's like I'm not able to hold on to it. Doing this is the mudra I use a lot, right? I use this one, or I'll do palm over palm, whatever. Or even if I do other stuff, like I'll do this, other stuff I'll use, right? When I'm in these positions, but I keep my hands together, right? I don't put it out, I just use different ones, but I found that's my reason. And by starting out, I know I'm all over the place, but when I'm starting out, checking off and releasing the body, especially when I'm saying when the hands are in the lap and you feel the weight of your arms, you feel the weight of your hands. All right. Will this help me open my third eye? Yes, it will. But with it, like the best way to do it is want for nothing. I know that sounds weird, but especially as you start to explore these spiritual phenomenons, the more you want something to happen, it prevents it from happening. It's like this weird, like, I wouldn't even say it's like a code, but it's like a prevention method or a wall to keep those like less disciplined, or you could almost say in older things, that'd be like the unworthy from experiencing certain things. Because if you just want, then it's like if someone gave you some food and you're like, all right, so what about you didn't give me this? Someone gave you a piece of chicken. You're like, oh no, I want some turkey. They gave you the turkey. It's like, you know what? I actually really like tofu. I'm vegan now. And then you get this. It's like, you know what? Like, I actually want some fish because I missed that. And then they give you the fish. I'm like, oh, where's the rice with it though? Like, you're going to give me all these and no sides. It's almost like what we're saying to the universe when we keep asking and wanting these other experiences to happen, when we're given all these experiences almost on a daily basis. Or if you've had one, to cherish that and reflect on it instead of like being like, oh, and you get lost in all these fanatics and all the fantastic of it. And I would like to say it's like you're going to see a play in the theater and a movie, and you got lost in when everything's like all the action was happening. You got lost in the action, but you didn't pay attention to the plot of the movie or the character development. All right, of the movie. You just were like, oh yeah, that was a really cool scene, a lot of colors. The fight scene was dope and all, and the art was amazing. Well, what was the intention behind the art? What were the little cues that were within it? Likewise with your experiences. And yes, that meditation I taught you will help you open your third eye, but the biggest thing is be patient. Be patient with yourself and diligent on your practices. And I would say don't expect anything. Just go with the flow. And oftentimes I see a lot of things around, oh, open my third eye, do this, da da da. Da. And it's like reading all this stuff to try to help open the third eye, but I don't see enough like, hey, practice this for 90 days and then see what happens, right? Like every day for 10 to 20 minutes a day, be consistent with yourself. Just like you eat your food, you need to feed your spiritual body. Get in the habit of doing that, and then things will happen. Especially, I see it with the younger generation. They are extremely gifted. But every single generation, we got like something that's, there's no reason. I would say not no reason. What's the purpose of trying to go to a task or like reach a goal if it's just going to be effortless, right? A lot of things that are effortless, they're not truly effortless. Is that when we hit these blocks, we don't mind it as much. But when it comes into something like spirituality, where it's like people are reincarnating and going around and around and been on this planet for thousands of years, still trying to reach this realization, yeah, it's not as easy as some of these books and stuff makes it sound. Now that all these children are back, right? You see them as the rainbow children, the crystal children. I think it's called like the New Earth or the Three Ways by Dolores Cannon. She speaks on it. Dolores Cannon, Drolescannon. I encourage you to look her up. She speaks about this like in full. Like the book is like maybe like this, but it goes into detail. But I see with the children, because they've grown up with technology and grown up with social media, the part of the mind that is naturally develops patience. And like, for me, I did grow up with Wi-Fi, but there was dial-up. If I wanted to watch a movie, it took a little longer. But now that everything's instant, it's like, oh, why can't I just, do this meditation and listen to the sound and my third eye opens right away? Well, just like a flower, you can't, if you want a flower to bud, you can't just try to pluck open the bud when it's green and get everything out. Or fruit, if you've ever seen a fruit on a tree, like when it's this little green bulb, it's not a cantaloupe yet, it's not a berry yet, it's not a strawberry. Like you still have to let time take care of it, and diligence and watering and nurturing take care of this. It's not expecting these things to happen overnight. It appears to happen overnight for those who notice at the last minute, but it takes time to get there. That's the biggest struggle I see, like for this newest generation. They are extremely spiritually gifted. However, a lot of things will develop with time, patience, and persistence, because especially when they reach the ages of maybe like 13, 18, 21, 25, 30, different things happen within the neurochemistry that could remove some of these things in the mind. A lot of my friends that are around my age, I'm in like my mid-20s, when they were children, they had a lot of phenomena happen to them, right? They were astral projecting or having these amazing dreams or intuition on point, and then all of a sudden, once after they hit puberty and different stuff, they lost some of these abilities and they wondered why. Hey, I used to see these spirits all the time. Oh, I used to be able to astral project all the time. Oh, my telepathy, I was doing all this. I used to have these amazing visions. And then all of a sudden at this age, it stopped. Most of the time, they stop because of two reasons. One reason, the people around them are saying, hey, this isn't real. You can't do it, blah, blah, blah. You crazy, da, da, da. Right, looking for validation of what they're seeing, right? And being a child mind, just how it is, these are computers. Going back to how I started with this, what you're receiving and what everything's telling you about comes in. All right. So you got to be conscious about what you're receiving, especially for those of y'all who are younger on the spiritual path. Be conscious of who you're sharing the things you experience with, because everyone doesn't experience these things. Everyone doesn't listen to this, and it's completely okay. All right. It's just like if you're going to say a radio station, if you actually want to be able to hear the radio station, you have to tune in to the radio to get it. You have to go onto the channel. For those of y'all who don't, whose radio is just online now, right? Or you've seen it, you got to dial to that. You got to go onto that channel and like actually click on the video for it to go on the video. There are thousands of videos planned, but you got to go on the video to watch it and actually to get it. So you want to be conscious of who you're sharing these things with, because everyone doesn't experience it. You are special, right? You are unique. You have been given gifts. With this, be conscious of who you share your gifts and be discerning. Well, foods help with this process. So when it comes to opening your third eye, yes, foods will help with your process. But the biggest thing is, it's interesting you said process. You want to be cautious of processed foods. All right. When I say processed foods, if you look into what processing is, if you cut a grape or you cut a peach, that's technically a process, right? But when I'm saying highly processed foods, things that, like, the best way to put it is like when you go into a grocery store, everything at the middle of the grocery store, like, is processed foods. Like everything, the stuff that's easiest for you to get and the things that are in the checkout line that are like unconscious things, like all the candies and the different snacks and stuff, that stuff will clog up some of the sensory. It will disturb and change your brain chemistry. All right. You need to be cautious of these things. And it's not just the sugar. Some of it's the processed sugar. Yes. I'm not going to get into that right now, but be conscious of the refined sugars that you put in as well. You want to be wary of the food dyes. All right. It's not as much an issue in other countries as it is in the United States, because the food dyes we use, like yellow dye #4, blue lake 6, red 40, all that stuff, just Google it. Like, what does red 40 do? What does red 4 do? Look it up, and then you'll start to see, take it out your diet consciously. You'll start to notice the effects it has on you. All right. Some of the effects from these things are like things that develop into cancer, as well as hyperactivity, lack of focus, and these really weird diseases and neurological disorders and endocrine hormonal issues that show up from food dyes. All right. Food dyes are even in Doritos and all this other stuff. It's not just in the bright candies. You need to be conscious of what you're eating. When you want to help open your mind, and you could say open your third eye, foods that help, pineapples help, tamarinds help, drinking water that is done by reverse osmosis or spring water. Be conscious of the spring water, because it's like rock water. I'm not going to get into that. But you want to not stay away from tap waters. If you get bottled water, look for reverse osmosis water. One of my Sufi masters, she told me, she's like, hey, as someone like you need to be conscious and be aware and take control of the water that you drink. Because think about it. What is your body? Your body is 70 to 80% water. Everything that you put in your body magnifies, and that's what it becomes. So if you're taking in dirty water, if you're taking in water with chemicals, what does this do to your cells? It affects your ability to receive from spirit. It affects your ability to do what you need to do for your divine spirit to communicate with you. It affects that. So you want to take that really seriously into like what type of water that you drink. Those are just kind of some foods that do help with the process, but some of it's the food. But the biggest thing is like the reflection, the meditation, and then practicing something like Qigong or yoga, one of the two. I would say 100%. You want to get into things like that because by practicing qigong or yoga, you're going to develop not just a healthier body, but you're going to develop a more awareness of the subtle energies all around you. You're going to, which will help you with this third eye opening process. Because all that means it's your awareness that the five senses go beyond something. They go beyond the standard bandwidth that most people see. As you start to open your third eye, you'll be able to start to see auras. I got a video trending right now on TikTok that people are going crazy about. But yeah, so why pineapples and tamarind? Is there a specific reason? When I've looked this up, I know tamarind detoxifies fluoride from the body. And at least I'm not sure as much in Australia, but I know here in the United States, a lot of the tap water is fluoridated and there is fluoride in the water, in the drinking water. That's why I was stressing heavily about like, hey, like if you're drinking water, drink bottled water that's reverse osmosis, invest in a reverse osmosis filter. Or if like the household I'm in right now, we got a filter for the whole house that even the showers and everything that comes out, because it's not just what you drink, what you shower and gets absorbed into your body. So pineapples and tamarind do help detoxify fluoride from the body, as well as things like moringa. What's it? It just escaped my mind. But I'll send those to you later as well. But these really heavy grade, like spirulina, that's what I was thinking of. Spirulina, and then there's a chlorella as well helps. Right there, they were. But that's the main of the reason. Yes, we have fluoride in the water here, so we have a water filter at home. Yeah, that's great. It's very important because like it's not just for a third eye reason with the fluoride in your water, but when you have too much fluoride in your body, and that gets on, you see a lot where it's like, oh, pineal gland closing up the third eyes. But nah, when you have a lot of fluoride and calcium on your pineal gland, like medically, what it does, it's like the master control system for the rest of your endocrine system. If you got a lot of fluoride and calcium buildup on your pineal gland, other glands in your body are not going to work right or respond like you want them to. So this happens physically, and you could say metaphysically as well. Meta is the thing that means smaller, like just not two T's, one T, META, like smaller, like really small physical, but it comes from the physical, right? If you're going to say like a metameter, right, instead of like a meter, you can check me in. I'm pretty sure that's smaller. Like if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's okay. But when it comes to metaphysics, that's what they speak of metaphysical. It's the really, really small that affects the really, really large. So going to be closing pretty soon. But if anyone has any more questions to keep this going, because basically I see a lot of media, a lot of things out there about, oh, do this, open your third eye, do this, open your third eye. Well, pick a few practices, like pick 2 or 3 and then stick to them and then see if it works for you, but stick to it and stay persistent on it and your visions, and you'll start to learn whatever abilities you have. Because one of my really good friends, he's gifted in like learning music and hearing things in his dreams, and then he makes it into sounds, and that is his gift. That's one of his divine gifts. And as well as like telepathy, that's also combined with empathy. Oh yeah, I did say I was going to speak on that, and I will get into auras as well. But like say telepathy, a lot of times like, oh yeah, I hear words in my head, but empathy, like empathy, like when you feel what someone else is feeling, is telepathy. All right. And they're like, what do you mean? Well, it's like the words in your head, if you pay attention and you're younger, you just have this gift. They come after you're actually feeling what someone feels, and then your brain is translating that into words. But it's a form of telepathy when you go into a room and then it feels weird or bad. And nobody said anything, or like that is a form of telepathy or a form of empathy where your heart is telling you, your emotions are communicating with you about what's going on. This relates to auras because what auras are the visual form that's in the ultraviolet frequencies of the thought waves and some of the subconscious thought patterns that we have. That's all an aura is. A lot of things, it's like a lot of people are commenting on like, oh, you watch too much anime and HXA, so auras don't do that. All right. So what an aura is, look up Kirlian photography. All right. So Kirlian photography is Kirlan, and it should come up. I probably spelled it wrong. But anyway, what it basically is it's like photographs of like leaves and pieces of fruit and hands. And then you see these sparks coming off of it. You see this electricity coming off of the edges of it, right? This little outline that people see. And it changes, and you see, could look into like two fingers touching. And before that, like, do your research, like, look into this. This is real things. Look into aura photography. It exists. I've had my aura read. And what did I do? I didn't go to someone. She told me. I literally placed my hand on a scanner and I sat there and breathed in. And then it told me the different functions going on my body and actively changed with my thoughts in the moment. Right. These are things that can be measured by science in the 21st century. All right. So for those of y'all who say, oh, yeah, like, da, 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 check it out. It's real. It's your thoughts being actually seen, like, out. How do you think people know what other people are thinking and they're not, or they know, hey, I got a bad vibe, or hey, I actually knew you were going to fire me, or it's like, yeah, I think I actually knew that this person liked me. Oh, I know this person loved me. Oh, I know this person was about to do something. What did that come from? It came from their aura, all right, communicating with you. There's a part of the aura that is visual. There's another part of the aura that is felt, all right? This is what comes into play with telepathy, all right? So, going to be closing down, shutting down, unless anybody has a few more questions. I believe I addressed what I was going to address when it came to dreams. Thank you, by the way, Oreo Big Man 651 for the stimulation with meditation. Let me know if that's helpful. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Like, truly, if you ask, I will give you resources, but it is up to you. I can give you the seed, but it's up to you to plant it and water it. I cannot do that for you. I can simply present the knowledge, but it is your choice whether you want to act upon it. That is the biggest hurdle in the spiritual journey, is actually taking action upon this work you do. Because you're told that the work that you do is only work if you're making, like, if you're being productive for society. I like to say in the spiritual work I do, it is extremely productive for this society, this world, this universe, because what happens in the small is reflected in the large, right? The things I do are untangible and not seen, but they are felt and they are realized through the echoes of time, space, and reality. The work that I do may not be me going and digging inside the ground, but instead I'm digging inside of hearts, bringing out the darkness and replacing it with light. That will have a very much bigger change over the space of time, rather than me working in a corporation, just sending emails all day. Right? Will sun gazing help? With your third eye, yes, sun gazing will help, but look up sun gazing. All right. So when you're sun gazing, there's two ways to sun gaze. All right. So if you're going to look with these eyes, all right, if you're going to look with these eyes, do it in the rising or setting hours. All right. If you're looking with your physical eyes, for those listening to the replay on audio, if you're looking with the physical two eyes that blink, those eyes, you want to do it at the rising and setting hours within like the first 20, 30 minutes of sunrise, like literally when it's cresting, when you could actually look at it, right? When it's not painful to look at it, that's when you'd sun gaze, right? Or when it's going down, like right before the sun goes down and people can take pictures of it and the sun shows up. Like, this is a good thing. If you could take a picture with your phone of the sun and the sun's actually showing up and you could see the circle, that's the time for you to sun gaze. If not, and it blurs out and your phone's acting weird, don't sun gaze with these eyes. Just don't do it. All right. Another way to sun gaze. This one, you could try this out. If it's during the day, literally close your eyes, close these eyes, and with your mind, with your third eye, look at the sun with your third eye. I know it's like, what? Okay, the pineal gland or the third eye literally has rods and cones that are facing upward and looking up. What you can do is close your eyes and focus on this. Focus on this, looking at it, right? Finding that blue dot that's going to be somewhere, like, all right, you'll find it. What you want to do is focus on this spot. That is another way of sun gazing with your eyes closed. All right. You close these eyes, you use the other one. Okay. Sun gazing does help, but like everything, you need to meditate. If you want to really open your third eye, you got to practice the meditation I taught earlier. Do that every day for 90 days, and then stay when other things that you learn, stay with it. There's no short route. There are shortcuts, but as a shortcut would be like it would take you 3 years instead of 40, right? It's not like it's going to take you 2 weeks to get some of these things. A lot of stuff comes with time, persistence, and diligence. All right. So thank you for tuning in. I encourage y'all to listen to the SoundCloud versions. I like them better because it has the music and everything and the meditations at the end. So if you want to hear some different meditations, Oreo Big Man 651 Gold, then check out the some of my other episodes on SoundCloud. And there's a meditation at the end of every single episode. So if you're listening to it right now, get ready. All right, so that's where I'm going to cut it. All right. So for everyone watching, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. YouTube, please share with your friends. Thank you so much. Hey, I do this every single Monday at about starting at 7:20 Central Time. All right. So tell your friends, share, tell your auntie, tell your uncle, whoever has questions, please, because this podcast is built off the questions that people ask. I do have intentions coming in, but I do my best and my best service when I am able to directly answer these questions. All right. So please ask questions. If you ask the question, you will get the answer. If you don't ask a question, I cannot answer. All right. That's kind of a rule. All right. So until next time, have a nice day and namaste.